People deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. Once again, good morning and welcome back to another edition of the Deluded podcast. Big up to everybody listening to this via Spotify, via Apple Music. Shout out to you latecomers and freeloaders that are on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribing, hitting the like button and doing all of those sort of things early doors, folks. On that note, don't forget, a lot of my content is now / has now come out via Twitch, Deluded Gooner. Please make sure you're there. Same way you see me streaming live on YouTube or content on YouTube, there's the same on Twitch. And they'll interlap at times. There'll be exclusivity to a couple of platforms. So please make sure you're on the ball with that. All links are in the description. If you're on YouTube, yeah, you know where to find it and things like that. One love to everybody locked in. Now, the Premier League is obviously, we've got 2 podcasts this week. We'll cover the start to the Premier League more so on Friday as the fever really hits. Sorry, people. Hey. Sorry. I was just about to say, you lot have been on to me. You lot have been like, where's the FPL? Where's the FPL? Where's the Fantasy League? Where's the Fantasy League? I promise people, before the week's done or in time for the Premier League, you'll see your Fantasy League start again. Although I'm not looking forward to playing with some of you. You lot name your team some weird names and you get mad points and I'm never first. But nonetheless, love people. Obviously, it's transfer window season. It's a bit of a quiet day at the time of making this video. I say video, podcast, better yet. In relation to Lionel Messi to PSG, you know, we've seen that one developing over the weekend. It seems like a formality. There are little rumours that Barcelona have offered him another deal, which it doesn't make sense to me. Well, it does in that they tried to reduce it again, which led to this moment. But they already had a deal agreed with Messi, and for whether it was the league's fault, whether it was the way Barca handled their finances, they weren't able to get it through the line. Apparently, at the moment of making this podcast, talk of Lionel Messi being in France, or specifically Paris, currently is premature. He has not boarded a plane. But apparently, you know, it's a formality. He's just waiting for I's to be dotted, T's to be crossed, and he'll sign a deal. He take the number 19 shirt. And again, it's going to be crazy for PSG, innit? Because you've got a front three potentially of Messi, Neymar, Kylian Mbappe. Behind them, you've got, if you manage to back pocket them, you've got Di Maria. And it's a shame because Di Maria is going to go under the radar a bit because he's a great player, but, you know, there's levels that in front of the 3 ahead of him, so people might forget about De Gea. If you're able to get, you know, to do a job against them 4 players I've said, then you've probably got Verratti and somebody else in the midfield, Paredes, Ronaldo, all these things, you know. And then you look at that developing defence that PSG are getting, you know. Probably just need a left back now, although I don't think Bernat is poor. You know, Hakimi scored at the weekend. You've got Hakimi at right back, Donnarumma in goal, leader, Marquinhos and Sergio Ramos at centre-half. Left back, obviously, is Bernat. You know, it only becomes a depth problem for PSG in certain areas if people get injured. I mean, they have to win the Champions League, but I mean, there's a lot of other variables, you know. They need to learn their lessons from last year. They need to concentrate. They need better game management, and to see all these leaders coming through the door at PSG is crazy, you know. As great as Messi is, as great as Ramos is, as good as Ronaldo is, you know, I'm seeing leaders arrive. And again, sometimes, or better yet, if we cast our minds back to the Man City versus PSG game when they went out, you didn't see leaders. And I think that Donnarumma, leader as well. You know, not to mention Donnarumma, Messi, Ramos on free transfers. I mean, what a, you know, everybody says they spend big. And of course, they are still spending big on these players. They're on big boy contracts and things. But, you know, in terms of the transfer fee, they did all right. We all know Lionel Messi will pay for himself, you know. He's probably going to get hella new social media followers, shirt sales, you know, all of these potentially get to use and exploit Messi's image rights. These moves pay for itself, especially because PSG, there's a World Cup next year based in that sort of region, in Qatar and them things there, Dubai and them sort of sides. So it is something to consider. For Barca, where they go from here, I don't know, because apparently even Sergio Ramos is now out. I mean, Sergio Aguero, sorry, is out for 2 months with a problem, so he might not be able to play. And they weren't able to register him anyways. On the topic of PSG, allegedly they still want Camavinga, and I don't know, are they saying we're gonna buy Camavinga now, Pogba run down your deal, or both of you run down your deal? What does that mean for Paul Pogba? Because, you know, Messi's probably indirectly messed up a lot of deals in the market, really, for certain people. And then, you know, Pogba could have went there and become a Harlem Globetrotter as well. I don't know. Are they going to wait for him for a year? Is he going to stay at United? We'll have to see, man. Will he wait for Madrid and them things there in a year from now? I'm sure you've all seen as well. Bayern Munich have said they're looking at Haaland, people, for what it's worth as well. So that's going to be an interesting one. I don't think Haaland goes this summer, but next summer is anyone's bet. You know, I do think personally Real Madrid will have a starting 11 consisting of Kylian Mbappe and Haaland, but you can't rule out anyone. You know, for Borussia Dortmund, it'd be an L to sell him. You know, to sell him to your direct rivals who'll start scoring against you. But for Bayern Munich, it'd be an elite signing. You know, I mean, very few people can replace Lewandowski, and you've got that. You've got longevity. Haaland can still be sold for mad money. Like Haaland doesn't. I don't know, man. I think Haaland will play in the Prem. I think he'll play in the Prem. I actually think he'll play in Spain. I don't think he's gonna be the one club man sort of thing. Of course, he can't be, but you get the point. Of course, with him, you've got to be able to pay the P's. And for me, listen, he hasn't won the league. Forgive me if I'm wrong. In Dortmund, I mean in Germany with Dortmund. So you can't really say you've outgrown it. We know the dynamics that are at play that make it hard for anyone to beat, or better yet, pick Bayern Munich to the title. But you get where I'm going. But he might feel he's outgrown the league, like he's paid his dues. You know, he did his Salzburg thing or whatever. He went to Dortmund. He's developed. He's learning. He's still got a lot to learn, and now he's ready to take the step up. You know, and again, he's a quality player, but he's going to be very scrutinized in the next move he's got, no matter how good he is, because sometimes you do see his age and things like that. So it'll be a good move, people. Back to Lionel Messi for a second. Apparently, RMC have reported that Messi's transfer to PSG is not in jeopardy despite the Argentines delaying arriving to France. Various reports had indicated that the former Barca man would arrive in Paris today to finalise his transfer. However, the 6-time Ballon d'Or winner has remained in Catalonia. So yeah, apparently, you know, it's a formality, people. So we'll have to see. And no one would have seen that happen. I could tell you, nobody ever would have seen that happening, but it's happening, isn't it, people? For what it's worth, we're currently at the point where Messi's representatives are analysing the contract proposal and are in discussions with the PSG management over the Argentine's image rights and breakdown of his salary and bonuses. Obviously, forget Messi's ability. Someone like Messi, it's gonna take a hot minute in it to get these things done. You know, I used to work. I used to work in content and things like. Well, I still do, but permanently as a 9 to 5. You know, if Messi does nothing, like actually does nothing, he gets a base of included in everything. He can get £1 million a week. All the variables, every sort of thing he gets money from. If he just sits in his yard, he gets £1 million. If he's active, it gets more. You know, and it will take a while because obviously Messi, there's image rights there, innit? For what it's worth, he's gonna receive a €40 million a year contracting salary. People, it's crazy. You know, apparently more than 300,000 shirts are expected to be sold. And obviously PSG's tourism is going to go up a tenfold in my humble opinion, without a doubt, because obviously it's the greatest player to have ever played the game. And as you lot know, like Ronaldo, Neymar, ironically Kylian Mbappe and Haaland will get some not before too long. There is people that will follow Messi, not PSG, or follow Messi, but not Barcelona. You got them super fans, and they'll do everything, you know, to the point where, you know, they're grown men outside Barcelona stadium, like Messi can hear them crying and carrying on. You know, they're worse than the kids, really and truly. Apparently, Messi's move to PSG has already affected social media. Apparently, PSG have gathered 1.2 million new followers, and apparently the player Lionel Messi has gained 3 times. So boy, it's an absolute madza in that regards, people. You know, Lionel Messi, to say he's the best player ever, I just say he comes with this drama is a complete understatement. Obviously, it looks like Romelu Lukaku's very close to completing his move to Chelsea. You know, you saw him kind of fly. He's completing his medical, and you know, you've heard Thomas Tuchel speak about him. I think Lukaku's going to be a good signing. You know, you never know until things happen, and I don't like to use the words Premier League proven, but there's Premier League proven. Say what you want about all the other facets of a striker or how a striker should play. When you mention Lukaku, you mention goals. Now you're going to need him to score in the big games, because I know in the big games it's not quite correlated to him scoring historically, as you see in his record at United, but he breeds goals. And I think, you know, at Chelsea, they just need someone who wants to finish their dinner, and he will finish their dinner. I also think people, while he'll never be one of these small little nimble strikers and be praised for his general play, there has been a dramatic improvement in the way he links up with his teammates. And I feel you're probably not going to see 2 up front with Chelsea, but in game, when you see Havertz and Werner and all of these guys, Lukaku will be good for them. And crucially, Lukaku's there to score goals. I still maintain there will come a point, like I'd say within the next 3 years that they will consider even buying another striker, regardless of Lukaku. But you could do a lot worse. And apparently, you know, they've agreed a £34 million fee with Roma for Tammy Abraham. You know, Tammy Abraham, the chance to go under Jose Mourinho, play in Italy, play in a big city like Rome, it might be too big to turn down. He was previously linked with Atalanta as well, for what it's worth, folks. And he was linked with Arsenal, so that one day is gone. Suddenly, Roma have found money. Or they just didn't think Xhaka was worth the asking price. Crazy, you know. I was assured that if Xhaka ever decided to leave, he's so underrated. There'll be a bag of clubs waiting and begging Arsenal to take him off their hands. Boy, no disrespect to Xhaka though. Moving away from that though, Harry Kane. I mean, this is one that's gonna ramble on all summer. You're seeing Spurs linked with Martinez, linked with that Florentina striker as well. Are they looking for a replacement before Kane goes? I don't know. Apparently, Tottenham Hotspur expect Harry Kane to return to the first team group training on Thursday, following his period of isolation at the club's accommodation base in the lodge. As you lot know, the 28-year-old is currently observing a 5-day quarantine at the training ground after his holiday in the Bahamas. Apparently, Spurs plan to reintegrate Kane into the group training on Thursday, which is 2 days from now. However, it's unclear if the England captain will feature in the club's opening game of the new season at home to reigning champions Man City. How ironic. As you lot know, he initially failed to report for pre-season fitness tests last week, but denied refusing to train in a statement after criticism from Tottenham supporters. And I think that's where it gets a bit ugly, because someone's lying. Either Kane's lying about he didn't want to train, or this club, or the club's lying about it. And for Kane, you could understand why he doesn't want to be there. And for the club, if you are lying about it and Kane looks at it, you're kind of doing me a bit dirty. And I think this is where Kane needs to, tread a bit carefully, because I actually think it's 1-0 Daniel Levy, because you tried to stump your feet. At least initially, you're back in training. You probably will be involved in the matchday squad of some capacity against City, but you're only going to leave on Spurs' terms, Kane. And it comes down to how ugly does Kane want to make it, and he clearly don't want to burn too many bridges with the fans, because he's kind of calmed it down. So I think that's one that's going to rumble people, you know. And again, Daniel Levy's going to be tough. You know, a lot is made of Harry Kane, but what's going on with Ndombele now? I think he's a quality signing. He Spurs his record signing, and he's on big money. You know, Jose Mourinho, he had a love-hate relationship, I'd say, with him. Ryan Mason, whether he's got the credentials or not, didn't want to utilise him. I swear he didn't even play for Spurs in their final. And Nuno, again, it remains to be seen, but he's not really rating him. So again, as much as I feel they're doing him dirty, and apparently, you know, he wants to leave, he wants to stay. We know Spurs allegedly offered him back to Lyon in relation to a deal for Aouar. I don't know what's going on with him, but I would say 3 managers can't be wrong. I don't believe Ryan Mason. I think Jose Mourinho is Jose, and Nuno, you should be playing him, but 3 managers can't be wrong. What's going on? Is it fitness? Is it a knock? Is it something mental going on? For what it's worth, Nuno said he's not injured, but we also consider it's not yet the right moment for him to be part of the game. So it seems like his future is far from resolved, and I don't know who's going to take a chance on Ndombele, and I'm sure he would love to be going to the World Cup. It's a World Cup year, so I don't really feel he wants these shenanigans to repeat from last year with Spurs. So I think that's an elephant in the room going over people's heads. From people potentially leaving their clubs to people staying at their club, Manchester City are poised to announce John Stones has signed a new 5-year deal worth 250 grand a week, and that will commit him until 2026. So that's a 5-year deal for him, which is probably going to tie him down for the best part of his career. And it's well deserved for John Stones, man. He's fought back for his City career. A lot of, people counted him out, but he's a fighter. He's come back roaring and having and playing well for City. And obviously, you look at Laporte, he's spoken of a move away. John Stones wants to stay. There's also talk of Raheem Sterling potentially signing a new deal, as well as Phil Foden to go with, obviously, Jack Grealish staying and things. And at 27 to sign a 5-year deal, you've got a good deal. Very, very good deal. As you lot know, John Stones' deal was going to run out next year, people. And once upon a time, he was linked with a move to Arsenal the minute Arteta came in. So this shows just how quickly things can turn positively and negatively within football, people. Moving away from that, allegedly, Premier League fans will face random spot checks of their COVID-19 status at grounds in the first few weeks of the season, the league has said. The top flight announced protocols for the new season, saying fans must be prepared to prove they are fully vaccinated or have had a negative lateral flow test in the last 48 hours. The league is preparing in case it becomes mandatory for all fans to have their coronavirus status checked. As you lot know, the season begins this week, specifically on Friday, Brentford against Arsenal at 8 p.m. Obviously, keep a mental note of that. I'll be doing a watch along on that live from 7:30 on YouTube. Tomorrow is Super League business. I'm sure I'm probably going to do a watch along. That's going to be exclusive to Twitch. For what it's worth, the content is here, people. We're going. And you're seeing the Championship has kicked off. The French League is kicked off. You know, it's not the same, but BT have now got the rights to the Italian League, which I'm happy for, because now I can properly watch that again. Somebody just needs to bag the Spanish League again, and then we're all set, and then things there. Or someone just needs to make a one-stop hub where you can just select your own sport packages of stuff you want to buy specifically. You know, I pay for Sky, but, you know, I'm not watching Discovery Channel and all of these sort of things as much as I like Discovery. I'd rather watch a Netflix documentary on it. My point being, there needs to become a time where you pay specifically for sport packages tailored to you. Like, to you listening to this, obviously you and me as an example, no two same could be the different. No two people have the same viewing tastes, innit? So if it could be tailored to anybody, it'd be great, man. So yeah, back away from that and back to this though. Obviously, you know, COVID checks are a thing, and when I went to Arsenal Chelsea, I had to get that negative lateral flow thing, whatever it's called. Nobody even asked, so I didn't really have to take the test. Really, it's so uncomfortable, man. That nose part, the bit where you got to put up your nose, my word, very uncomfortable feeling. Very, very uncomfortable feeling. Moving away from that, though, talk of the Premier League, you know, it's only right. Apparently, Premier League clubs will be allowed to name 9 substitutes when the season kicks off, people. As you lot know, people, in the last 2 campaigns, we've seen the squad, matchday squads, better yet, increased mid-season. Apparently, the 20 clubs voted through the changes that saw it climb from 7 to 9, and I think it's a byproduct of the game. I do think you, for what it's worth, you should be allowed more subs and things like that. As you lot know, managers will still only be able to use three of the 9 subs in normal circumstances. As you lot know, there is the reserve of concussion substitutions and things like that with what's going on with research in that game. Heading very well soon will be a thing of the past. Where Liverpool are concerned, I'm sure they're not happy about it, but I'm sure if you know where Liverpool are concerned, against Atletico Bilbao, their left back suffered an injury. Andy Robertson will miss the start of the Premier League season due to ankle ligament damage. As you lot know, the Flying Scotsman, the left back, underwent a scan at Liverpool's Spare Hospital on Monday. After obviously limping out of Sunday's friendly, he had to be helped from the pitch by the medical team. As you lot know, he was stretchered, he twisted his ankle. As you lot know, he was pictured leaving in a protective boot. So we're wishing, from a human point of view, we're wishing him a speedy recovery. But it is a blow to Liverpool's preparations. But what I will say is injuries are part of football. If it can happen, it will happen, and you do have to prepare. So who knows, that Temescas guy might stand up to be counted. He might step up. On the topic of the season starting, I can't say I'm optimistic, especially after the performance I saw against the scum Spurs. Sorry, off topic, but where Southampton are concerned, you know, again, strikers are going to make the difference for them. Apparently, they've agreed a deal to sign Borja on loan from Chelsea, Armando Borja. As you lot know, he spent last season on loan in Holland. He signed a new deal at Chelsea. You know, depending on the striker movements, he was allegedly meant to stay at Chelsea, but because of Lukaku coming in and whatnot, he's probably going to be moved on. The 19-year-old's got a big opportunity to show Chelsea that he's Premier League ready at Southampton. And for Southampton, there's talk of signing Adam Armstrong as well. I'm pretty sure more hopes are with Adam Armstrong. Armando's probably there to help, you know, just balance things and help offset the departure. It'd be the 3rd Chelsea man to arrive this summer, obviously, with Livramento and the centre-half they signed, you know, so I guess Southampton are working. And to be fair, you know, Chelsea's catchment area seems to be up near Portsmouth and Southampton and still be able to go through London, so maybe it's the least they deserve, really and truly. Where Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden are concerned, people, apparently Manchester City have enlisted the help of Dr. Raman Kugat to get to the bottom of the injury setbacks for Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden. As you lot know, Kevin De Bruyne went to see this renowned surgeon last week with a lingering ankle complaint. We heard he was playing on that in the Euros. Apparently, Foden went in July after injuring a ligament in his foot. Both injuries were sustained during the Euros. You know, so yeah, is what it is in that regards. That hopefully they get that one sorted, man. People forget this is people's health on the line. So yeah, I can't lie. What else is there? I guess I told you, like, it's a slow news day, people. There's really nothing happening in the world of football. We'll see some transfers. As I said, Lukaku is expected in London to complete his Chelsea move. And you've all seen the pictures of him in the cab and stuff. And I think Lukaku will do well, man. You know, he scores goals. He knows the league. He's got the right attitude and the right healthy attitude. You know, his mentality is strong. And he's got a point to prove. You've got a chip on your shoulder. If you come to Chelsea and conquer, people shut up about things. And we know he's got elite mentality, because when he was last there and they won the Champions League, he said, I didn't feel part of it, so I weren't really lifting it up and them things there. I've just seen it emerged on Sky Sports, people. Lionel Messi has received a formal 2-year contract offer from PSG. It's thought to be worth 25 million a year, so after tax. And it's now being considered, people. I mean, you all saw Messi crying at his press conference. You know, it killed me, man. It killed me. Messi himself said that is one, in relation to PSG, said that is one possibility to reach those heights. I've got nothing confirmed with anybody. I had a lot of calls, a lot of interested clubs. At the moment, nothing is closed, but we are talking about a lot of things. So it's you know, they made Messi cry. I want justice, man. Like, this is breaking my heart, really. So yeah, that was that. You know, Grealish said he cried like Messi over leaving Villa as well. I don't think anyone cares about that one quite as much, but it is what it is in that regards. Let me see if there's anything else in relation to, you know, Norwich confirmed the signing of Josh Sargent. You know, he's an American striker who was doing his thing in Germany for a bit. Good signing for Norwich. Keen to see if he can hack it in the league. Apparently, Harrogate Town's next 3 games have been postponed due to COVID tests, people. They were scheduled to play Leyton Orient and Crawley Town on the 14th of August and 17th in the league. And they were also on Tuesday, which is today, due to play in the Yarrabell Cup first round against Rochdale. But due to COVID problems, that is not happening, is it, people? So, yeah, you know, it is what it is. Chris Wilder, I'm not going to read it all out, but he said he's eyeing a return to management. Lula, but it is what it is. Everybody's allowed to do what they can. I don't think any, you know, if you're trying to be a forward-thinking club, I'm not sure Chris Wilder's the guy for that. But nonetheless, people, so we see any other emerging transfer gossip and things. Hopefully there's something concerning Arsenal. You know, it'd be nice to get signed a midfielder, but I'm not gonna hold my breath would be the right term for it, because disappointment and Arsenal go hand in hand, unfortunately. Apparently, Manchester United may be preparing a late offer to tempt Messi away from PSG. Apparently, PSG are open to selling as many as 10 players. Let me click on this article and try and find it, people. What 10 players are they trying to sign? I had to scroll the way through because it's just a mad think piece. Some interesting points on this, people. Apparently, the investment in Messi means the French club are now open. Well, sorry, that's the last point. At PSG, free agent Messi will be paid a signing-on fee of 25 million and has agreed a 2-year contract with a net salary of 25 million euros per year. It includes an option of a third year at the same rate. PSG believed the move for Messi to be almost impossible as recently as Thursday afternoon. Before a call from Messi to head coach and countryman Pochettino altered the dynamics. The investment in Messi means the French club are now open to offers for up to 10 of their players, while PSG would now prefer Pogba to run down the final year of his contract at Man United instead of committing a fee to signing the midfielder this summer. You have heard they're open to getting Camavinga now that the rates have dropped. PSG have calculated internally the commercial benefit of recruiting Messi will mean their investment pays for itself. They view this deal as a relative bargain compared to the initial package worth close to 500 million over several years that was suggested to PSG and Manchester City, obviously with Messi's future in speculation last year, folks. Apparently PSG assumed Chelsea might get involved, and that created anxiety. Messi's former teammate at Barca and good friend Neymar has played a key role in there. PSG remain hopeful that they'll be able to also commit Kylian Mbappe to sign a new deal. They also intend to maximise Messi's commercial opportunities and image rights for next year's World Cup in Qatar, people, which obviously could be probably will be Messi's last one. I'm trying to find if there's the 10 players. I mean, this article's filled with a lot of waffle, people. I'm trying to scroll all the way down and try and see what's going on. I mean, there's talk of even Cristiano Ronaldo. Apparently, they are conscious that major clubs across Europe are struggling to offload players for sizable fees this summer, but anticipate interest in such players as Diallo, Kier, Gay, Rafinha. I mean, half of these players shouldn't have been signed. Apparently, Icardi and Herrera may also be considered expendable. But to be honest, I'd probably keep Herrera and Icardi for the squad. Gay as well, maybe, but you know, a couple of them are at risk of leaving, man. A couple man there are not levels. You know, they committed Diallo on a permanent as well. It's not really making sense. Danilo, sorry. It's not really making sense in my humble opinion, but they done it nonetheless, people. They done it nonetheless. Moving away from that and moving on with where we're going, people. Having had the first part of his Chelsea medical, Lukaku could play in their Premier League opener against Crystal Palace on Saturday. Boy. Another article also says, you know, the French club have ended their interest in Paul Pogba, allegedly. Lyon have made an offer for Liverpool and Switzerland forward Shaqiri, who's obviously said he wants to leave. Tomorrow, Wednesday, apparently is the day Manchester United will officially confirm the signing of Raphael Varane. Liverpool are still eyeing a move for Rennes and Belgian winger Jeremy Doku, who you all saw at the Euros. Jose Mourinho is also keen on a move for Arsenal and France striker Lacazette. Go on then. Don't mind if I do. That will be part of my next content. Make sure, people, 11:30 a.m. leave this DG podcast and make sure you're at the DG live streams on YouTube. I'm probably going to be doing content on Twitch as well. Not Stritch, what's that, on Twitch. So make sure you're following on Twitch, Deluded Gooner. Apparently Leicester are keen on signing Manchester United midfielder Jesse Lingard if Maddison leaves. Boy, apparently Leicester also want former Liverpool loanee Ozan Kabak. Everton are eyeing Newcastle midfielder Sean Longstaff. As you lot know, Joe Willock apparently is going to complete a move permanently to Newcastle. As we've already said, Ndombele is considering his future at Spurs. Raheem Sterling is set for contract talks with Man City, as we've said. Bayern Munich are considering re-signing Frank Ribery. The 38-year-old has been training with the club since leaving Fiorentina. I'm not too sure that makes sense, but fair play. Let me click on this Dembele rumour, people. Apparently, in relation to the Arsenal game, despite what Nuno said, apparently he had trained leading up to it after a period of paternity leave and was available. Apparently he's now weighing up his options, and we'll see what the situation is come the end of August, by which time Spurs will have played 3 games. We all know he's their record signing. We all know he's on 200 grand a week. It's a bit crazy, man. I'm trying to scroll down and see if there's any other thingies, people. There could be any other reasons for this. So it doesn't seem like there's anything else in relation to Ndombele and things like that. So it's as a neutral fan of the player, I hope it gets sorted, man. It's never nice to see any of that. But it is what it is in that regards, people. There is, like I said, it's a slow news day. Yeah, man, there's nothing else to speak on. Hopefully, you know, come Friday, there's a lot more to speak on. We'll preview the Premier League game. And as I said prior to that, there's a whole lot of content. Like, even before the weekend comes, make sure you're making a mental note. 7:30, Arsenal versus Brentford, watch along on YouTube. We're going to have I'm pretty sure, I swear it's the Super Cup tomorrow. If I'm lying to you lot, then I'm frying. But if I'm not lying, there'll be a watch along, you know, half an hour before kickoff, exclusive to Twitch, Deluded Gooner. And there's a bunch of other content between now and then on Twitch and YouTube. You know, I always hang around like a bad smell. So if you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure you're hitting the like button. If there's equivalents to do that on Apple and Spotify, make sure you're doing that. Make sure you're following across all the platforms as well. And yeah, man, it's been a fantastic DG podcast in this 20 odd minutes, but I'm going to have to love and leave you. People, DG, I'm out.